Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. I want to have a little fun with this video today. I'm going to read a letter from a viewer, and I'm going to tell him what I think he needs, and then I'm going to try to help him get what he wants. And you all can play along with me on this. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to post something that popped up showing a real dangerous situation that kind of relates into all of this. Let's get to the letter first. The letter comes from Rob. Greetings, Tractor Mike. I use a deck-over trailer to transport my tractor from my home to some land I own about 6 miles away. I use a carry-all to transport my log splitter and chainsaw equipment into my woods on a 3-point. In addition to the tractor and carry-all, I have room for 2 IBC totes on the trailer. Or I can load 8 totes on the trailer at a time without the tractor loaded. What I'd like to figure out is a way to get the loaded totes off the trailer without a tractor. That way I could haul loaded totes home more efficiently. Otherwise, I can only get 2 totes home at a time, and I spend a half hour on each end loading and unloading the tractor and securing it to the trailer. I'm wondering if there's some sort of lifting apparatus I could construct to back the trailer under and remove the totes one at a time, hopefully for a lot less money than adding another tractor. You strike me as just the right guy, and if anyone can solve my problem, I'm betting it's you, Rob. Well, Rob, I appreciate the vote of confidence, and yeah, I'm the kind of guy that was always trying to figure out an easier way of doing things. Your situation kind of befuddles me. Basically, you're needing a device that you can leave at your house that doesn't cost much money, that you could unload totes off a trailer with. And I thought about what would a device like that look like, and I conjured up in my mind a high-lift, rough-terrain pallet jack. And I don't think something like that exists. And if it did, I'm not even sure how it would work. You'd have to have rough terrain tires on it. You'd have to be able to get in with the forks, lift up the tote, and then pull the whole thing back manually. And on rough terrain, that might be a pretty big deal. I can't conceptualize there even being something like that around. Now, if any of you know something, put it in the comments down below. I also thought about, you mentioned making like an A-frame to go over the trailer where you could drive on top of it and pick up the totes. Man, I don't know how that would work. That almost seems to me like more work than hauling the tractor back. Also thought about getting rid of the trailer you've got and getting a tilt deck trailer so you could load all your 8 totes on, come back home and then tilt it up and then drive out from under the totes. And that might work. And that might result in a pile of totes and firewood, and you're no better off than you were, except you've got the expense of a new trailer. I also thought about a Moffett truck. And if you don't know what a Moffett truck is, they use them in our area to haul masonry and bricks and things like that. And they hook on the back of a semi-truck. They use hydraulics to pick them up off the ground, and then they drive them to the work site and unload whatever they need to unload off the semi-truck. And thought about that, and I thought, well, maybe you could find something like that used, or maybe a articulated wheel loader or a rough terrain forklift. But all of those things, you'd think that a construction company might cast off, and they'd be where you could afford one. But there's still a market for those, even after they've got a bunch of hours on them, and they're not as strong as they once were. So they hold their resale value pretty well. So I looked online for those kind of devices. I really didn't come up with anything. So I put all of this in an email and sent it back to Rob, and Rob responded. He said, "Thanks, Mike. You listed some interesting ideas. Unfortunately, there isn't a magic solution. I was really hoping you would just recommend buying another tractor. Then I could say to my wife, Tractor Mike says I should buy another tractor. Of course, then I'd have to figure out how to pay for another tractor. So anyway, I'll keep looking for another way." Well, Rob, I see what the real situation now is. You want a new tractor. I'm going to try to help you get it. I've got your back. I'll tell you what I want you to do, and we'll all play along with this. I want you to stop the video when I say the word mark. I want you to go get your wife and have her watch the rest of the video. We'll try to help you out. Let's all play along. 3, 2, 1, mark. Hi, it's Mike with AskTractorMike.com. Well, I got a viewer letter from a guy that owns property 6 miles away from his house. And he cuts firewood there and brings it back to his house. What he has to do now is load up his tractor with some totes, go out to the 6 mile away field, cut firewood, put it in the totes, put the totes on the trailer with the tractor, and then load the tractor up and drive back to his house and unload the tractor and unload the totes. And what he's asking, he would like a way of taking the tractor out to the field with 8 totes, which he could haul on his trailer, loading the 8 totes up at the field, driving back to his house, and unloading the 8 totes with a device. And he's wanting to know, is there something out there like that? And his name is Rob. Well, Rob, I looked around for a rough terrain, high lift pallet jack, found nothing. I looked at a used rough terrain forklift, which would solve the problem, or possibly a wheel loader. Those all cost more than a new tractor would cost. So in the end, Rob, I came up with one solution and one solution only. And I ran this by the Tractor Mike Board of Advisory, and they came up with the same thing. You need to buy a new tractor, and the sooner the better. And we recommend you get a tractor with all the bells and whistles that you've always wanted. We also recommend you get one size above the one you've got now in case you want to do more work. And possibly it's time to get a cab. So that's the only option we see, Rob. That's what we recommend. Now, you're going to say tractors cost a lot of money, but there's an oversupply of tractors right now, and you can get one with 0% for a long time. You will not even notice the payments. So, Rob, the only thing you need to do is to go to your dealership, pick out a really nice tractor, and get it delivered as soon as you can. Now, I want to show a video, and this kind of relates to Rob, about what happens when you load a trailer wrong. And I'm sure Rob knows what he's doing when he's loading a trailer, but not everybody does. This is a video I'm going to roll here, and this happened in my area. I live in Ozark, Missouri, not too far from Branson, and this happened just north of Branson, Missouri, on a stretch of road I've been over hundreds of times. And what's happening here, this guy's got negative tongue weight. If you load anything on a trailer, any kind of trailer, box trailer, any kind, you want at least 10% of the weight of whatever you're hauling on the tongue of that trailer. And if you don't have weight that's pushing down on the back of your tow vehicle, this is what happens. It can get really ugly and really dangerous really quick. And this caught my eye. I've seen videos like this before, but never on a stretch of road that I've driven hundreds of times. It's scary. You'll meet Jesus real quick if you have negative tongue weight. I appreciate you watching my videos. I would be honored if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking the Mike face icon, and make sure you check your bell so you get notified when I post future videos. Here's a link to my website and the Tractor Fun Store with cool things for sale for the tractor owner to help support my channel. Here's another couple videos you might want to watch. Thanks for watching.